Okay, so in this session we're going to be doing a very simple animation with the camera tools inside of After Effects. So the main things we're going to take away from this is how to animate the camera and create 3D layers within inside of After Effects. So all we're going to be creating is this camera flying through a sort of football pitch going up to Ronaldo. Okay, so the images that I've acquired from the internet for this exercise are, there's a sky, there's a PNG of Ronaldo, which just means there's a transparent background here. So you can go onto Google, type in football player PNG, and then you'll get some nice images. We've got a football which has also got a transparent background, so that was also a PNG image. We've just got a bird's eye view of a football pitch, then another football player PNG background, so it's completely transparent. And yeah, I think that's and we've got a crowd as well. I typed in stadium crowd PNG, so it's all cut out, so it's a transparent background as well. And I think that's it, yeah. So let's have a little look at how it's broken down inside of After Effects. The only keyframes we've got, if we select them all and hit U, see it's just on the camera. Okay, these are the only keyframes we have. So all of these layers are 3D, and you can see that they're 3D from that little cube. So we've got sky in the background, we've got this football pitch, which I've sort of made 3D and rotated so it's quite flat. We've got this football player, then Ronaldo, and the ball further down. Okay, so if we were to go to by here, this is where you can pick your type of view, and if we look at the top, we're looking from above now. So you know, all that means is like a bird's eye view. So you can see we've got the camera, this is the camera, and this is where it's animating in and out. And if we click the football pitch, we can see that this layer is flat because we obviously rotated it to make it flat. And we've got this footballer by here, Ronaldo and the ball by here, and this line in the background, this is the crowd. Okay, so that may not make that much sense at the moment, but don't worry, it will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start again, and I'm going to create a new composition. HD TV 1080 25 is what I want. 25 frames per second is what I want, and this was my other animation was about 6 seconds long, so I'm just going to type in here, for argument's sake, let's make it 8. And there is another tab in here called 3D Renderer. The ray traced 3D is very sort of intensive on your computer, and classic 3D is good enough for this, and we don't need Cinema 4D Renderer. So we'll just make sure you've got classic 3D selected, and let's call it football stadium fly through. There you go, and click OK. Right, so got this new composition. So first thing I want to drag in is the background, which I should rename really. Let's rename that the sky. So let's drag that in. Okay, and this is our sky background. We need to scale it up a touch, something like that. Okay, we will need to rescale it later as we push it back into 3D space, but we'll do that later. Next I want to bring in is these people, so I'm working from the back. So let's drag it down to about here. Let's make it a bit smaller, like that. And what I'm going to want to do is, I'm not going to do it yet actually, but I'm going to need to duplicate these so there's loads of them there. Next we'll bring in footballer. No, we'll bring in Ronaldo because he's further in the background. And I'm not I want him to be facing the other way like that. Okay, so just like that will do. Let's have a look at the scale. What we can do is unlink these and set this to exactly -100, and that'll just correctly do it. And then we can link them back. So we're going to drag him over there. And then let's bring in the football, and you can see that each of these has got a transparent background, so that's good. Let's make that a bit smaller. Let's put it down by about there. And lastly, I think, is the other footballer, isn't it? Yeah. Let's bring him in, and he's going to be on top, and let's scale him up like that. But I want him kind of running the other way, so I'm going to unlink these, put a minus in front of the first one, and it just flips him around. Okay, so let's have him kind of like by there. Right, at the minute, the layout's all completely wrong, but before we start laying things out, we want to make the all the layers 3D. Actually, I forgot the football pitch, didn't I? So let's bring that below by there. So we've got that. Now we're going to start off by making this football pitch 3D, okay? So in order to make layers 3D, make sure you've got this little 3D cube icon. If you can't see that, just hit toggle switches and it'll show you it. So I'm going to make all of them apart from... No, yeah, I'm going to make all of them 3D. Okay. And what you will notice is if we go into the football pitch, if we hit P for position, we've now got our normal X and Y, which is across, left and right, up and down. Let's put them back. But you've also got this third one, and this is essentially sort of coming towards the camera and away from the camera. It's so you've got X going across, left and right, Y going up and down, and Z goes backwards and forwards. Now, in order to illustrate how this is working, I'm going to change my view layout by here to 2 views horizontal, and so all that does is I've got now 2 compositions. Okay, this one you can see which one you're currently using because it'll have these blue corners. Now, active camera is your standard view really in After Effects, and if we click in this one currently says left view, but we want to look from the top. So if we go to active camera, that's what we can see in here, but we want to look from the top. Okay, now as I take this football pitch and alter the Z, that's bringing it forward and backwards. So this one, Y does up and down, and you can't see it altering in the left view there, and then X does across. So let's put them back, and then this one, Z, back and forth. So as soon as we push this back, you can see there's other layers by here. These are all of these layers, and as soon as we push it backwards behind them, you can see we can't see it anymore because all these other layers are in front. Okay, that's fine. Now another way we can push it backwards is by clicking this blue arrow and going like that. But in fact, what we want to do with this one is we actually want to rotate it, so it's kind of like flat. So if we hit R, we've got now X rotation, Y rotation, and Z rotation. So let's have a look. That one rotates it like that. X rotates it like this, where we're going to have it quite flat. That's the kind of thing we're going to go for. Oh, not that. And then Z rotation, you can see, just goes round like that. So let's rotate this so we've got a flat football pitch. Okay, so something like that, and we want to also now move this down, so we're getting that kind of perspective right. I'm going to turn off all the other layers because they're going to kind of obstruct what I want to see, so let's turn them off. So I want to make this quite flat, about minus 85, something like that. Well, let's try even minus 90, and let's bring this down. And really we want to scale this right up. Okay, now realistically I would have got a bigger image or higher quality image or made my own vector image through something like Illustrator, but as this is just illustrating 3D, I won't be too fussed about that. So you can see as I zoom out, now that we've scaled it up, it's gone absolutely massive. So we're viewing from the top here, and this is our active view, sort of our camera view. Okay, so I'm going to turn the sky back on, and you can see the sky is right in the middle because we haven't moved that back in Z space. So what we want to do is we want to actually move the sky back, and you can see as we do that, let's do it a lot more. So we want to move the sky. It's the wrong one. That's right. Let's get the position up for the sky and move it way back, and you can see that gradually it'll get further and further, and we want to move it back all the way to back here. So let's put it all the way back, so it's completely behind the football pitch. Just click and drag that value, keep on clicking and dragging, so it's all the way behind. Okay, and there you go, I've got it behind. So I'm going to go for somewhere around there. Now I'm going to get my scale and chuck it up. How big do I need it? I'm going to chuck it up about that big will do me. You can move it up and down. Let's just get it. Where's that horizon line? There's the horizon line, so we just want that just under, like so. Okay, so we've set them up. You can see our football pitch is flat and our sky has been pushed way out in the background. So the next one I want to do is these people, this crowd. So obviously I want this crowd to be just behind the pitch as they would be in real life, so I can get my Z and push them all the way back, and also they're going to want to come down like this as well. But before we do that, let's scale them up. So scale, they're going to want to be about that big, round about there, not too fussed. Actually, let's make them a little bit bigger. Let's go 150 for scale, and let's drag them down like that, just a little bit. Okay, so the issue is at the moment there's not enough of them. So what we're going to do is move them to the side, and I'm going to duplicate. So Control D will give me another one, and I'll move them across like so. And I'm going to keep on zoom in, see what we've got. I'm going to keep on duplicating these as much as I need to, and because they're so far in the distance, you're not really going to see that join, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, so something like this. Now, to save time, I'm going to shift click them, so I've got both of them, and duplicate them both. So now I've got two of them, and I can just move these across and just start building up a big crowd of people. Okay, I may move them down a touch, and there you can see I'm building on this now. So again, I'm going to retake these four, Control D, and completely take them all the way over. Okay, so now I've got a massive line of people. Okay, and right now you can see if I select all of these people, shift select them all, they're a little bit too far this way, so I'm just going to center them a little bit like that. So I've got a massive crowd of people now, so that's going to do good enough for that. So I want to select all of these, shift select them, and there's too many there, so I want to pre-compose them, and that means put them inside their own composition. So if I go Control Shift C, it'll open this pre-compose window, and I'm going to name it crowd. Move all attributes into new position, new composition, click OK. So now that's like a folder with inside here. They're still all in there, and what I might do is click this icon, and it'll preserve the well, let's see what it says, preserve the transformations. And you don't have to do that, but I just prefer to. I just find it a little bit easier. So we can turn that on and off, and we've got that massive crowd of people. If we double click, you can see them all within here. There they are. So let's jump back. So we've got the crowd sorted, and I'll just turn the 3D layer on for them. Okay, so you can see what this does now. I wasn't sure why it wasn't working before, but I have to make them you have to turn 3D on. Make sure you do that, otherwise it won't register. So turn 3D on, and when I click and unclick this, you can see that in this view it sort of cuts it off at the sides, but if you click this, it'll keep the pixels and sort of use the dimensions from inside here. Otherwise it'll just default and crop it at the sides, and we don't want that. So there we go. Now next we're gonna get Cristiano Ronaldo, and let's see where he is in here. There we go, he's right there. So I'm going to move him back. Oh, that was the crowd, silly me. select Cristiano Ronaldo, and I'm going to move him back sort of down here. Okay, something like that, and let's move him slightly to the left, like so. Now, I want to get the football, which is, you see, that's come in right by there, right in the centre, maybe a bit hard to see, that little line by there. And I want to put this just in front of Ronaldo, so I'm going to get my football, click and drag it back, and I just want to have it just next to him, just by there, okay? Something just like that. So he's right running onto the ball. See how it looks by there? Yeah, so the ball's right next to him if we were to zoom in. Okay, now I'm just going to select the ball, and I'm not sure if it's sort of off the ground or too much, so if I just select this, there it is, football. If I click it down, yeah, you can see it was levitating off the ground before, it was too high off the ground, and I think Cristiano Ronaldo might be as well. So you can see there just starts intersecting the pitch by there. So I'm just going to drag it back up so it's exactly on there, okay? Something like that. And then I'm going to get Cristiano Ronaldo, because I think he may be slightly levitating, and I'll click and drag him down. There you go, so he's not levitating off the ground. And I think that's just about where he's going to start intersecting the ground. Yeah, so let's undo that. And pull him up a touch, just a little pixel. There you go, and now that's a lot better. Or is his back foot is his back foot going through? Yeah. So we just want to make sure. There we go, and up further again, I think. Yeah, something like that. There we go. So that's lined all that up. And now, lastly, we want this football player, okay? So let's get the position, and what I want to do with him is, maybe want to drag him forward a bit, something like that. Okay, and pull him to the left just a touch, and yeah, somewhere around there should be good. Actually, let's move him forward a bit, and then let's move him forward quite a bit by there, and then we can check whether he is levitating off the ground. So bring him down a touch. Yeah, and you can see we'll have to bring him back quite a bit. And let's see where his foot starts intersecting. There we go. Let's bring him up a bit. Yeah, that's going to be cool. Just bring him up. Okay, so we've got everything more or less laid out, and it's good that you can see how, even though we have to zoom out quite a lot, you can see how everything's kind of laid out in 3D, or 2.5D really. So what we're going to do next is, let's close that and close that. We want to, actually before I do, I just want to make this footballer a little bigger, just to try and set it a little bit more. So before I do alter the scale, what I want to do is move this anchor point towards the bottom so it scales up from his boot, because if I would scale it there, it would scale down, and it would scale from the centre, so his foot would start intersecting the floor again. But just want to move this anchor point just to the bottom of his foot, and now if I alter the scale, he'll scale. Sorry, let's link these scales back. He'll start scaling upwards from the boot. Okay, and let's select this and go fit, so it fits the screen. That's a little bit better. I may end up moving things around when I get the camera in here, but if I do, it doesn't matter. So next thing we want to do is layer, new, camera. And I'm going to go with these default settings. I will go through in another session exactly how to use these settings, but we'll just go OK for now. I'll put the camera at the top, and I want to go click down, go to transform, and these top two are what I'm interested in. So let's go right to the beginning, set a keyframe for both of them, and you can see this is our camera. Just get my select tool. This is our camera in our 3D view. So let's shape this up exactly how we might want to start. So we've got this player by here. Okay, he's just a little bit off, that's fine. Okay, so we've got our first position. Let's move forward to about, let's say, 6 seconds. and let's animate the camera inwards like so. Okay, and come forward, and we want to finish kind of on Ronaldo. Okay, something like this. Okay, so you can move that a little bit at the front as well for your angle of view. There we go. Right, so let's have a look now what happens. I'll pull out of this view. When we go between these two keyframes, we can see that our camera animates in, and you can see how that's working in this view by here. How our camera animates in like so and goes all the way into Ronaldo. What I want to do is select these keyframes, right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease, and I also want to turn motion blur on for all of these layers just in case there is any slight motion blur. Okay, so we've got a little basic camera move there. There's one thing I want to do before I finish. The green of this pitch looks very, very saturated in comparison to the players and the sky, so just a little finicky thing. We're not doing compositing yet, but I just want to add a hue and saturation to the football pitch ground, and I want to bring the saturation down just a touch, and maybe put the lightness up a little bit, and just play around with this. Yeah, you don't have to do this. It's just me being a bit picky, to be honest. But yeah, I would play around with this for a while, really. But you can see what a difference that makes. It just looks a lot more as if it fits there a lot better. So let's give this a little. Let's see where my keyframes are. I'm going to drag my work area to here. Let's give it just an extra second. So trim top to work area, and let's preview this now. So you can either click play there or click the spacebar. So that's just going to preview in, and hopefully you've taken some stuff away from this session. I'll just pause it as I'm waiting for it to preview, and then you can join me back. Okay, so you can see my animation now. Got a nice sort of camera move that starts going in nice and then just comes to a nice slow end. Okay, so that's some basic camera movement inside of After Effects. So I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next tutorial.